What's up guys, John here with Low Effort Disc Golf, and today we're going to be starting a new series aimed at the beginner level disc golfer. Today is the first video in this series and we're going to be looking at flight numbers. What do they mean? If you're new to disc golf or looking to get into disc golf, you may be overwhelmed with the amount of choices that you have. There's a million different discs out there right now. And one thing that they mostly have in common is these numbers that you'll see in all of them. And you might be asking yourself, what the heck does that mean? So today we're going to look at the flight numbers. The first number, speed. This first number is speed and represents the amount of arm speed that you need to put on a disc in order for it to fly in its intended flight pattern. They range anywhere from 1 all the way to 15 speed. And the higher the speed of the disc, the more power you're going to have to put on it in order for it to reach these other flight numbers that we'll talk about later. The speed rating also is determined by the rim width. This is an 11 speed and this is a 9 speed, and there's a pretty clear difference on the thickness of the rim. Once again, if you're throwing at 11 speed with the power of a 5 speed, it's going to act like a very overstable disc, and it's not going to have the desired flight that you're looking for. Alright, we're here at hole 2, pretty nice open hole. We're going to try to give you a good example of how speed works with discs. This is a Star Mako 3, a great beginner level disc. This is a Latitude 64 Grace, not a great beginner level disc, but a great disc in itself. We're going to throw both of these from the tee pad with a standstill to kind of try to show you how different speeds affect the flights. This is a 5500, should go very straight, assuming I throw it well. Mostly straight flight with a tiny amount of fade. This is the Grace. I'm going to throw it the same way, and you're going to see a pretty big difference in the flight. You can see there that thrown with the same amount of power and hopefully on the same amount of flatness, the Grace tends to dump out a lot quicker than the Mako 3. And this is why newer players should lean towards lower speed discs, because you have a lot more distance potential with the lower speed disc with lower arm speed. The next number that we're going to look at is the second number, which is glide. And glide is kind of a strange number because there's no real definition on what it means. But basically, the higher this number is, the further your disc is going to stay in the air before it wants to finish, either left or right. And this glide number has a lot to do with the profile of the disc. A flat disc is going to have much less glide than a domey disc, because more air can get under it and keep it in the air. We'll revisit glide with some throws to kind of further explain how it changes from disc to disc. Alright, now we're going to try to show you an example of how different glides affect the flight patterns of different discs. This is the Mint Discs Grackle, which I believe has a 4 or 5 glide, versus the Maul, which is rated a 7 glide. If you look at the profile, the Grackle is a very flat disc, at least this one is, versus the Maul that has a decent amount of dome, and that's going to affect the glide quite a bit. It's also a much more overstable disc. Yeah, that easily is like 100, 150 feet past the Grackle with just glide. That thing goes forever. The Maul, good beginner level disc. The next number that we're going to look at here is this third number, and that's the turn rating of the disc. If you are a right-handed person that throws backhand, the disc is going to naturally spin and finish to the left. The turn rating is the disc's willingness to go against that spin and turn to the right. This disc right here has a -3 turn rating, which is going to make it understable versus overstable, like a disc that has a 0 turn rating like the Invictus. This disc is going to want to go left and left hard, Whereas this disc right here is going to want to give you some turn and give you a full S flight. If you're a beginner level player, you may not get the full S flight out of it, but with proper form, you will see excellent results. The very last number that you see is the disc's fade, which means how much does this disc want to get to the ground. This here is an Invictus, not a beginner level disc. But if you need a disc that's going to go straight and then finish left quickly, this is a good disc. A disc like this Sphinx or this Leopard, is going to have a lower fade rating than turn rating, which means that it should want to travel more right than left. A disc with a lot of fade is going to be considered overstable. Here we have 3 discs that are going to show a good representation of turn and fade. First disc representing fade is the overstable Mint Bobcat. Awesome mid-range. To show a straight disc, we got the Star Mako 3. This should have very little variance as to turn and fade. And then we have the Origin. This is the Midnight Prowl 2 edition, which should give me a little bit of turn and go right. First disc off the tee is the Bobcat. Pretty overstable, always wants to finish left. Next up we got the Mako 3, which should go a lot straighter. Significantly straighter. Now we have the Midnight Prowl 2 Origin, which should give me a little turn. A little bit of turn. Well guys, we appreciate you watching our video about flight numbers. Hopefully a couple of you actually learned something. If we missed anything, let us know in the comments. We love responding to our commenters. Stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be all about disc selection. Very exciting. We appreciate you watching. You know, if you liked it, give us a like, maybe a subscribe, that'd be cool too. And we'll catch you in the next one. Y'all have a good day.